my dear friend Dr. B.H. Katti, and young friend Dr. Arvind Kannolli, and everyone associated with the PG department of Samhita Siddhanta. A very warm good morning to all of you and all the students and other teachers who have joined here. A very warm greetings. Dear friends, the topic assigned to me happens to be the VIMAANA. And VIMAANA, I suppose, is a big sthana comprising of 8 chapters. And what I will be doing in this presentation would be the picking out some important aspects of the VIMAANA and discussing them. The topic assigned to me happens to be. So in that sequence, just wait a minute, I'll start sharing this screen. Can you see the screen?
So now it's started, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
The screen is visible to all of you? Sajjan Shetty, sir?
Sir, still it is starting screen sharing, sir. It has to come.
You can't see the PowerPoint presentation on screen?
No, sir, it is sharing, not visible, sir.
But here.
Now it is visible, sir. Now it comes.
Sir, is she audible as well as visible, sir? Anand, sir.
So now it is visible and audible both, sir.
Kannoli, sir. Kannoli, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಇದು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು, ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ರಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಸರ್.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Sir. Okay. Anand sir, good morning.
Very good morning.
Sir, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಬಟ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಸರಿ.
ಅದು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ದು ಮೈಕ್.
So what I was talking about is I am talking about the important aspects of VIMAANA because VIMAANA is a big sthana comprising of 8 chapters. And in this presentation, we'll be touching some of the important aspects of VIMAANA that would be the scope of today's discussion. And I believe most of you are UG students, and it's ideally expected that you will be holding a textbook of Charaka Samhita with you in your hand at this point of time, because when the context arises, you should be quickly jumping to the certain shloka, a certain reference that will establish clarity in understanding. Now, with that background, let me start the presentation. Let me start discussing the Vimana Sthana. Now, when you look into the word Vimana Sthana itself, but because Vimana is not a new word for any of us. Vimana is, okay, is this the Vimana? On the screen, you can see an aeroplane. I'm reminded of this because long back when I was, there was a question asked in the university exam, define Vimana. One student had neatly put a diagram of Vimana and finished his answer. So that is the Vimana that we know as far as our basic understanding from our high school that has come. But that is not the Vimana meaning as per our Samhita. Our Samhita comes up with a different meaning for the word Vimana, and the definition that has been provided is there on your screen. It says, Visheshena miyate jnayate dhosha bhesha jadi anena iti Vimanam. So the word Vimana is comprising of, it can be broken into fragments as V and Mana, where V stands for Vishesha, V stands for Vilakshana. Now, Vishesha, we would have already learnt the term Vishesha under the heading Samanya Vishesha, where in case of Samanya Vishesha, the term Vishesha refer to the Hrasa Hetu, it is reduction. But the term Vishesha has got different meanings also. Vishesha is special. Vishesha is distinct. Vishesha means Vilakshana. Vilakshana means the lakshanas which cannot be placed in certain category will be learnt under a separate heading, and that we call as Vishesha or Vilakshana. Now, Mana is the next word. Mana means Jnana. Just like how you would have learned the word Mana in your Anumana. In your Anumana, Anu was Paschat, Mana was Jnana. So, Anu Paschat Miyate Jnayate Anena iti was Anumana. That is something that occurs, the knowledge that occurs slightly later in comparison with the Pratyaksha was known as Anumana. Likewise, Mana here also is Jnana. So, Vishesha Jnana is the meaning of the term Anumana, Vimana. Vimana means Vishesha Jnana. As per Chakrapani, it runs as Visheshena Miyate Jnayate. So, something which is going to give us Vishesha Jnana is known as Vimana. So, Vishesha Jnana that is given to us is known as Vimana. What is the Vishesha Jnana? Vishesha Jnana of Dosha Bhesha Jadi Anena iti Vimana. So, we have many factors to be learnt. We started our study of Sutra Sthana. We're done with Nidana Sthana. Then we're talking about Dosha Bhesha. Certainly a question comes at this point of time. So, we'll address the question soon. But basically the term Vimana refers to Visheshena Miyate Vishesha Jnana of Dosha Bheshaja, etc. So what are the etc. will be taken in the next slide, next shloka. So Dosha Bheshajadinam Prabhavadi Vishesham Ityartaha Evam Bhutaha Vimanam Abhideyatayah Yatra Tishtati Tad Vimanasthana. So Vimana Sthana is that Sthana of Charaka Samhita where the Vishesha Jnana of Dosha, Bheshasha, etc. is explained. And what Vishesha Jnana is explained? The Vishesha Jnana of the Prabhava of Dosha, Bheshasha, etc. is mentioned. And that Sthana is known as Vimana Sthana. Now, the next shloka says, Adi is elaborated. So what is Adi? Dosha, Bheshaja, Desha, Kala, Bala, Sharira, Sara, Ahara, Satmya, Sattva, Prakriti, Vayasam. Manam avahita manasa yathavat jneyam bhavati visheshaha doshadi mana jnanaya tattvat. So this sthana is written for the purpose of doshadi mana jnana. Doshadi mana jnana is the primary purpose of this sthana. Adi includes bheshasha, that is medicine. Bhesham rogabhayam jayatiti. So Vesham Rogabhayam Jayati, the one which is going to relieve me from the fear of disease is known as Vesha. Then we have Desha, Kala, Bala, Sharira, Sara, Ahara, Satmya, Sattva, Prakriti, Vaya. The mana of all these is explained in certain sthana, and that sthana is known as Vimana Sthana. Now, when we talk about mana, what is mana? Manam iti prabhavadi visheshaha. So mana, because we already have learned one term in our Padartha Vijnana as mana or parimana. Parimanam punaha prathag manam. Mana is one among the paradiguna which we call as measurement. So what are we talking about in Vimana Sthana? Are we talking about measurement here? Or in what is the nature of measurement? So in that sense, it is very much important to know, for us to know the meaning of the term mana. Mana is said to be the prabhavadi visheshaha. So mana is the effect itself, the prabhava of all these. The prabhava of dosha, bheshaja, desha, kala, bala, sharira, etc. is known as mana. Now, what is prabhava? Okay, again, there is a problem with the word prabhava, because in the beginning we have learned prabhava as rasadi samya yat karmam vishishtam tat prabhavajam. So that is our basic meaning of the term prabhava. But to be honest, in this adhyaya itself, Chakrapani clarifies the prabhava. Prabhava can be classified as chintya and achintya. There are two possible type of prabhava. The prabhava that are explainable and the prabhava that are inexplainable. And the prabhava that is inexplicable is the prabhava from the perspective of Dravyaguna that we learn as prabhava. Whereas the Vishesha karma of any of these is known as prabhava, which is chintya prabhava. So therefore, it is the Vishesha Jnana of Dosha, Bheshaja, Desha, Kala, Bala, Sharira that is happening in Vimana Sthana, and that's why it is important for us to know. But certainly, when we talk about mana of these, so one of the meaning of the word mana has been said has been said as measurement. So can we measure the doshas? Can the doshas be measured? Can you measure the medicine? Can the desha be measured? Just a minute, I am getting a phone call from your own principal. Very good morning, sir. Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, it's audible, sir.
Okay. So I was talking about how do we measure the dosha, bhesha, desha, ja, kala, etc. Now, certainly this is also explained because the dosha are already seeing their ups and downs, but still they can be graded. The bhesha, medicine, okay, you cannot have a proper measurement for any medicines. That has to be understood by experience. So the guidelines for formulating the dose of medicine is documented here. How do we understand the Desha, Kala, Bala, etc.? See, when we talk about Bala Pariksha, we grade the person as having Uttama, Madhyama, and Avara Bala. So that grading is our Mana. When we talk about Sharira Sara, that grading is our Mana. So that is what is the Mana from the perspective of Vimana Sthana. So Vimana Sthana is basically a Sthana which is telling us the Vishesha Jnana of Dosha, Bheshaja, etc. The Mana is the Prabhava, Prabhava is the Vishishta Karma, and those karma can be measured in terms of the Utkrishta or Madhyama or Avara. So that is the meaning of the term Vimana Sthana. So we go to the next. Okay. When we look into the content of Vimana Sthana comes with these 8 chapters. There is a Vimana Adhyaya. Okay, to be specific, this is the title of the chapters as mentioned in Samhitas, because the translated books would come up with Rasa Vimaniya Adhyaya, Trividha Kukshiya Adhyaya. Now, if you look into the original Charaka Samhita, these are the titles: Rasa Vimanam, Trividha Kukshiya Vimanam, Janapada Dhvamsaniya Vimanam, Trividha Roga Vishesha Vijnaniyam Vimanam, Srotasam Vimanam, Roganikam Vimanam, Vyadhita Rupiya Vimanam, Roga Bhishakjitiya Vimanam. So these are the 8 chapters that we find in Charaka Samhita Vimana Sthana. Now, an important aspect of the study of this Vimana Sthana should be, because we just now learned that the Vimana has been defined as Dosha, Bheshaja, Kala, Bala, Sharira, Sara, Ahara, Satvya, Sattva, Prakriti, Vaisam. So we're talking about the Vimana of all these factors. Now, synoptically, if I look into if I bring the gross understanding of this under these specific captions, I reframe, or rather I redefine the Vimana Sthana content in this forum. So first one is Dosha and Bheshaja. Dosha need not be the Vatadi dosha itself. They can be the dosha that is caused to the Sharira by the Vatadi dosha. So in that sequence, I have for the dosha and Bheshaja, the content I have listed as, there is an explanation of Vatadi dosha in the first chapter itself. And there are 3 dravyas mentioned for the Vatadi doshas in the form of Taila, Ghrita and Madhu in the first chapter itself. Then there are dosha caused by Varjita dravyas, 3 Varjita dravya in the form of Pipaliksha Lavana. Then there is Ama dosha. I'm talking about a content in the second chapter, that is Trividha Kukshiya Adhyaya. There are 2 Ama dosha in the form of Alasaka and Visuchika. And there is a possibility of Amavisha also, which is nothing other than the dosha. Then there is the Janapada Dhvamsa Vimaniya Adhyaya, where there are Dushta, Desha, Kala, Jala, etc., causing the various Vyadhis. And this chapter also talks about the Chikitsa for Chikitsa Siddhanta for Janapada Dhvamsa Vyadhi. So the Shodhana, or to be specific, the Panchakarma has been mentioned, followed by Rasayana and Sadhurata. That is the Bheshaja aspect of Janapada Dhvamsa Vimaniya Adhyaya. Then the Srotas have been mentioned in the Sroto Vimaniya Adhyaya. The Srotas are grossly told with the purpose of the Sroto Dushti Lakshanas, which is again the dosha. And the Chikitsa for all the Sroto Dushti Vikaras Siddhanta also has been documented in this chapter, Sroto Vimaniya Adhyaya itself. Then we classify the diseases. The grouping of diseases is mentioned in the Roganika Vimaniya Adhyaya. Then in that chapter itself, we come across with the dosha and Agni relationship. Dosha, Agni, Prakriti relationship. And thereafter, to maintain the Samyata of Agni, there are certain specific measures to be followed by each of the Prakriti. That is, a Vatala should be following a certain guidelines, a Pittala person should be following certain guidelines, and just I know all of you have come up with some basic understanding of Ashtanga Sutra Sthana. You have learnt Doshopakramaniya Adhyaya, and all that you learned from the Doshopakramaniya Adhyaya is borrowed from this Roganika Vimana Adhyaya of Charaka Samhita. So that is the Dosha Bheshaja aspect available in the Roganika Vimaniya Adhyaya. Then the 7th chapter is Vyadhitarupiya Adhyaya, where you'll start finding the krimi and its chikitsa, the dosha caused by the krimi in the sharira and the chikitsa has been addressed. And the last chapter, the last component of the study of whole of Vimanasthana, you have Vamanadi Shodhanartha Dravya Sangraha. And these dravyas are mentioned again, and these dravyas would again be classified based on the rasas. So that is the Bheshaja aspect. So this is gross understanding of where and where all the dosha Bheshaja are discussed in Charaka Vimanasthana. And remember, this is not a watertight classification. It is not to be believed that only these are the dosha Bheshaja and remaining are, there is in the remaining context, there is no dosha Bheshaja discussed. So I am giving you a gross picture of where the dosha Bheshaja is clearly evident. I am going to give you a substantiation for the definition of Vimanasthana from the references of Vimanasthana itself. The second is Desha Kala. Now look, Desha is place and Kala is the time factors. So both are the unchangeable and we have to accept them as they are. So therefore, I have placed certain factors in that category, Shastra Pariksha, irrespective of whatever Kala that you are in, irrespective of whatever time phrase that you are in, whether you are in the Balyavastha or Vruddhavastha, whether you are in day or time, you have to examine the science before you opt it. Shastra Pariksha is explained. Likewise, when the provision is there, you can choose a teacher also. Acharya Pariksha, this was practiced in the previous time, but this is now changed in the form of choosing a college, because we have changed from Gurukula system to Kula Guru system. So this is basically change. You can choose which college you want to take the admission, that is Acharya Pariksha. Then there are Trividha Jnanotpaya in the form of Adhyayana, Adhyapana, Tadvidya Sambhasha. That's Shishya Lakshana, Sambhasha, Parishat, Vada, Marga Pada. All these are irrespective of whatever place you are, irrespective of whatever Kala that you are in with. These are certain knowledge, Vishesha Jnana, that everyone should possess, be it for medical practice or any other practice. These are common. Whatever you choose, whatever you want to study, these are the common things, irrespective of being a student of Ayurveda or not. These are universally applicable. Now then, the Bala Sharira Sara is the next point, next set of concerns, and we have these grossly seen in discussion on Ayu Niyatattva. This discussion is happening, if you remember, in the Janapada Dhvansa Vimaniya Adhyaya. A question arises: is our Ayu Niyata or not? Is our lifespan is already decided or not? Do we have a predetermined life or not? So which has been explained based on two factors, Daiva and Purushakara. We'll discuss it later. Then we have Kala and Akala Mrityu, the timely and untimely death, which is again basically decided by the Bala and Sharira Sara. Then how much is the Bala? That has to be examined, the both the Roga and Rogi Bala, that has to be examined by the Trividha Pariksha. To be specific, the Bala, the Trividha Pariksha in the form of Aptopadesha Pratyakshanumana. Then the Ahara and Satmya, the next context. So it starts from the definition of Satmya itself. Then Ahara Vidhi is discussed in the first chapter itself. Then you have, I'm hearing some disturbances. Then we have Ashta Aharayatana and Trivida Pokshi, which is talking about the mana of the ahara to be consumed. The last Prakriti Vayasa, so we can, that can be seen in Dashavida Pariksha Bhava in the form of Karana, Karana, Karya. And in that itself, we come across with Athura Pariksha. Athura Pariksha through the Prakrityadi Dashavida Bhava. So in that sense, where we have a provision of grading, even the last, that is Vaya, is also very important because okay, there's someone speaking in Marathi. Can you mute him? Okay, so Vayas, this is because if you look into the first adhyaya of Charaka Samhita, it started with Dirgham Jivitiyam. So that is what is the basic purpose. So the understanding of Vayas also is what is Vaya, how it has to be divided, how it has to be graded, etc. are the concern of Vimana Sthana itself. So this is rather a definition of Vimana being redefined based on the content in gross way. So with this background, we'll try to look into the content proper. Okay. Now, why and where all this information is stored? Now, why and where are the two questions. So we learned that this is the content of we learn the Vishesha Mana of Dosha Bheshas, etc. So where these are placed? So these are placed Nidane Jnata Hetvadi Panchakasya Chikitsopayogitaha Dosha Bheshajadi Vishesha Jnanam Apekshitam Bhavati. So after learning the different aspects of Roga Nidana in Nidana, after the identification of the disease, basically we have to go to the Chikitsa. But before starting the Chikitsa, there are Vishesha Jnana, the special things that are to be learned are told here. So therefore, this is placed after the Nidana Sthana. Why it is placed after the Nidana Sthana is this reason. So Dosha Bheshaja, the Vishesha Jnanam Apekshitam. So these are the Vishesha Jnana of Dosha Bheshaja, etc. is very much desired, and hence the Vimana Sthana is placed after the Nidana Sthana. Now, Doshadi Mana Jnanaya Tattvat Kriyayaha. Now, what we are learning here? We are learning Doshadi Mana. We are learning the Prabhava or Vishesha Jnana of Dosha, etc. because we want to apply them in the Kriya. Kriya is Chikitsa. Kriyayaha iti Chikitsayaha. This is because nahi amanadnyo doshadinam bhishak vyadi nigraha samartho bhavati. If a person is not having the mana jnana, if he doesn't know the jnana of the proper mana, what is the samabala, what is the pravara shakti, what is the abhyavaharana shakti, if he doesn't know, then he is not capable of treating the diseases. Vyadi Nigraha Samartha. He cannot be a competent physician. So therefore, the Acharya Charaka, to make every reader of Charaka Samhita a competent physician, discusses these all concepts in Vimana Sthana. So therefore, Tasmat Doshadi Mana Jnanartham Vimana Sthanam Upadekshamo Agniveshaha. So therefore, I am telling you this all this content through the Vimana Sthana, thus said Punarvasvatraya to Agnivesha. So another point that I want every BMS students should know is, if you look into the Samhitas, we come across with 4 different kinds of sutras. They are the Guru Sutra, the Shishya Sutra, the Pratisamskarta Sutra, and Ekiya Sutras. That is, By looking at a particular shloka, we should be in a position to identify who is saying this shloka, this content. So the content from the Charaka Samhitas, any of the shlokas would be either they are from the Guru, said by the Guru. Guru for the whole of Charaka Samhita or Guru for Agnivesha was Punarvasu Atreya. So we have shlokas told by Atreya, and this is one such example. This is an example. Atreya is telling, listen Agnivesha, this is the reason why I am telling you Vimana Sthana. So this is a Guru Sutra. And there are many contexts where Agnivesha is going to ask the questions. We have Shishya Sutras. Then we have Pratisamskarta Sutra. Pratisamskarta, there are two Pratisamskarta for Charaka Samhita. One is Acharya Charaka and the other one is Acharya Dridabala. And one of the easy way of identifying the Pratisamskarta Sutra are the Dridabala's sutras, because we have a clear instruction, clear information that last 41 chapters are completely added by the Dridabala. So those sutras are known as Pratisamskarta Sutra. Then other than Pratisamskarta Sutra, we have different opinions coming from the different scholars of that time. So those are known as Ekiya Sutra or Ekiya Mata, the singular opinion from different people. For example, Marichi says something, Kapya says something, Maitreya says something. In the all these are the names that you find in the Mahachatushpada Adhyaya of Sutrasthana. Otherwise, you have so many seminar symposium documented in Charaka Samhita. The people from different places and come and tell their opinions, and those opinions are known as Ekiya Sutra. So those are the four sutras. The knowledge of four sutra is very essential for any Samhita reader, because we need to identify who is telling this, and that gives us a very clarity in understanding the Samhitas. So this statement is basically a statement made by Punarvasu Atreya. He says to Agnivesha. So basically, in a nutshell, it is said we are trying to graduate a person from being a clinician to physician. So clinician, I say him because he has been trained to conduct a clinical examination of the patient in Nidana Sthana. We gave you, or rather the Acharyas have given the guidelines of clinical examination of the diseases in the Nidana Sthana. After that, he has to become a physician. But before he starts giving a medicines, there are quite a few things that he has to learn, and those are quite many, because it starts from Vimana Sthana, it will be taken to the Sharira Sthana, it will be taken to the Indriya Sthana, thereafter the Chikitsa Sthana starts. So this is why this Vimana Sthana is placed after the Indriya Sthana. So I hope you're following, I hope it is clear also. Now, we go to the next slide. So as I said, it's a very Herculean task to touch every nook and corner of Vimana Sthana in a span of 2 hours. So what I will be doing is I will be giving you a synoptic presentation of the content of each of these chapters. The first chapter is titled as Rasavimaniya Adhyaya, and another important point is every Sthana, first chapter, first prakarana of the first chapter is the introduction to the Sthana itself. The first prakarana of the first Adhyaya is usually the introduction to that Sthana. So in the first prakarana of Rasavimaniya Adhyaya itself, we talked about what is the definition, the scope of Vimana Sthana. This happens in the next Sharira Sthana also. This happens in the next Indriya Sthana also. So it happened in the previous Nidana Sthana also. The first part of the first Adhyaya is usually the introduction of that Sthana itself. So that introduction we have already done. So what is grossly the content of this Rasavimaniya Adhyaya? So I have to say there is a mentioning of Chaturvidha Prabhava. Chaturvidha Prabhava. It starts with Tatra Ado Dravya Rasadravya Dosha Vikara Prabhavan Vakshamaha. So in the beginning, we will talk about the Prabhava, Rasa Prabhava, Dravya Prabhava, Dosha Prabhava, Vikara Prabhava. Now again, I want to mention that Prabhava here mentions is the Vishishta Karma. Vishishta Karma can be of two kinds. Can be explicable, can be explained, or cannot be explained. If they are explicable, they will be called as Chintya Prabhava, and if they are Achintya, they will be the Prabhava of the category of Rasaguna Virya Vipaka Prabhava. So point of concern here is Prabhava means the karma itself. So we're talking about Chaturvidha Karma, and the Chaturvidha Karma are Rasa Karma, Dravya Karma, Dosha Karma, Vikara Karma. These are the four kind of Prabhava that starts. In this connection itself, the rasas are being explained. The rasas and their effect on the on the dosha has been documented, which Vagbhata took this and gave you a wonderful shloka in the form of Tatradhya Marutam Gnanti Trayas Tiktadayaha Kafam Kashaya Tikta Madhuram Pittam Annetu Kurvate. There's a slight difference between these, but grossly the meaning is very much the same. There are three doshas, three rasas that are going to increase the certain dosha, and there are three rasas that are going to decrease the certain doshas. That is the rasa and dosha relationship being documented. Then we have the dravya and vikara. So which, for understanding, there are two concepts being explained as Prakriti Samasamaveta, Vikriti Shamasamaveta, and which basically says that if a combined effect of different rasas or different dravya is matching with the union, then it is Prakriti Samasamaveta, and it is not necessary that a combination of two or more should follow a certain method. If it violates, if it deviates, then we call it as Vikriti Vishama Samaveta. This is possible because of different combinations. This is possible because of different dravyas. So which is what we mean by Vikriti Vishama Samaveta. And it's easy to explain these concepts in a live, establishing an eye-to-eye contact with the students. But I say, if you have any questions on these two concepts, please write and ask me at the end of this presentation. So there is this Prakriti Samaveta and Vikriti Vishama Samaveta concepts which are going to be of importance. Particularly the second one is the guidelines on which the Achintya, Karma, etc. are to be understood. Then after this, for the specific dosha, the specific dravyas have been mentioned. That is the Taila, Ghrita, Madhu for Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So this is because they carry the properties that are opposite to each of those doshas. So hence the Taila Prabhava. So this is nothing other than, there's nothing different here. The Dravya Prabhava examples have been told. The Taila is a Dravya, the Taila Prabhava is Vatagna. Ghrita is a Dravya, the Prabhava Ghrita is Pittagna. Madhu is a Dravya, the Prabhava is Kafagna. So this is the Prabhava aspect of Rasa, Dosha, Dravya, Vikara. Now Acharya Charaka here brings about the three suitable things. Then suddenly the topic shifts to the three things that are never to be consumed for a longer period. So therefore, another important concept that is being discussed in this chapter happens to be the three Varjita Dravyas. The three Varjita Dravyas are the Pippali, Kshara and Lavana. Pippali, Kshara, Lavana are the kind of Dravyas that should never be used for longer period. Because he says, Atha khalu trini dravyani nati upayunjita adhikam anyebhyo Pippali, Kshara, Lavanamiti. Their dose also should not be more, and their duration should also be not more. So this is point of concern here is this is told with the purpose of them being having a bad effect on the Sharira, and Acharyas have observed these. See, what all has been documented is because of their unimaginable power of observation, because they have seen people consuming pippali to a larger extent. They've seen having a bad effect of kshara on the body. They have seen the people who eat lavana suffering from certain set of conditions. So because of those observations, they bring a concept called as Trivarjita Dravyas. There are 3 Varjita Dravyas that one should avoid eating the Dravyas. And the 3 Dravyas are, he says, Trini Dravyani Nati Upayunjitam Adhikam Anyebhyo Dravyebhyaha. So compared to the other Dravyas, these Dravyas should never be used in excess, and they are Pippali Kshara Lavanam Iti. Why? This is because Pippali is basically said to be Tridosha Kara because of its guna. Pippali is having the guna that are going to increase the pitta and kapha, and that are not going to reduce the vata, and therefore it is said to be Tridosha Kara. The effect of kshara, no, pippali is long pepper, kshara is the alkali. So alkali is, again, this is also okay, this is what from the perspective of Charaka Samhita he says there are geographical regions where in soil itself the kshara is more. In them he has made observations, and he mentions the place also. The place is said to be the Prachas Chinascha, that is Prachi in the eastern part of our country, and the China. China is nothing other than the China. So in these places, the people eat more kshara. In these places, the soil itself is having abundance of kshara. Kshara means the alkali. Now, the overusage of these is going to be harmful. It causes the andhya, shandhya, khalitya, vali, palitya, premature aging, premature graying, or all the adverse effects of kshara ati prayoga. Now, I want to bring to your notice that there are in the present day there are many people who talk about alkalines in therapies. That is, kshara as a aushadha is certainly indicated in Ayurveda, but other than Ayurvedic practices, there are many people who believe that if the acidic nature of the human body is reduced, then the health is going to be increased. So we have many kshara preparations, the alkali solutions being available in the market. So point of concern here is that is not an advised practice, that should not be encouraged, and we have to abide by our principle that kshara is not to be used in excess. It is indicated only in certain diseases and certain indications also, only it is to be used. That's about kshara. In case of lavana also, the Acharya Charaka says there are geographical regions in our own country where the people cannot avoid eating lavana. He identifies the places as Bahalika, Saurashtra, Saindhava, Saviraka. So these are the places where the soil itself is containing abundant amount of salt in it. If you go to the coastal area, Saurashtra means the coastal area of Gujarat. The soil itself, whatever that is grown in that soil will naturally have some amount of salt in it, and therefore they are prone to suffer from this glani, shaithilya, daurbalya. So these are the observations, and therefore they should avoid overeating the lavana, and therefore the lavana overeating should is being avoided. He also mentions the other places. For example, there is Bahalika, there is Saurashtra, there is Saindhava. Saindhava is the place surrounding to the Sindhu river. Then, okay, so these are the places, and he even goes, Tehi Payasa api saha lavanam ashnante. So they, even in their milk, we find the presence of the lavana. So how is this possible? Because the cattle, that is the cow or the buffalo there, they eat the grass that is grown in that place. That grass will have abundant of lavana, and therefore the milk that cattle give also will have lavana in it. And consuming the milk also, through the milk also the people are consuming lavana. That happens in this geographical regions. So based on these observations that they have carried out over a period of time, because I suppose there are some PG students also joining in this lecture. For them it will be explicable. You have something called as cohort studies. Cohort studies. Cohort studies are the longitudinal studies that are conducted for several years. The research runs for several years. So probably the Charaka would have conducted some sort of cohort studies on the effect of Vipali, Kshara, Lavana, because all these are not the immediate effects. All these, that is Andhya, Shandhya, Khalitya, Palitya, are the effect that are seen after certain time, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So such longitudinal studies are already conducted in our own Samhitas, and this is a befitting example for such research works. So that's about the Trivarjita Dravyas. And Acharya says, even if the person has attained Satmyatva to the Trivarjita Dravyas, he should avoid it. He should avoid the consuming of Trivarjita Dravyas even if he is accustomed to it. And how can that be done? So that has to be done keeping in memory the Padamshika Krama of avoiding and accepting any new thing. So likewise, even if the Pippali, Kshara, Lavana are, should avoid them. Now once we said what is not to be consumed, then immediately a need was felt to the Acharya that he should give a certain guidelines for the ahara itself, and therefore he brings about Ashta Ahara Vidhi Visheshayatana. There are 8 factors that has to be given due attention before we start eating anything, and they are Khalu Imani Ashtav Ahara Vidhi Visheshayatanani Bhavanti Prakriti Karana Sanyoga Rashi Desha Kala Upayoga Samstha Upayoktram Ashtamani. So there are 8 factors that are Prakriti, Karana, Samyoga, Rashi, Desha, Kala, Upayoga, Samstha and Upayokta. These are the Ashta Ahara Vidhi Visheshayatana. We'll quickly run through what are these. The Prakriti means the nature itself. Prakriti has been defined as Prakriti Ruchate Swabhavoya. The natural qualities that any of the Ahara Dravya possess would be known as the Prakriti. For example, there are Dravyas which are Guru. The example that is the text that the text is talking about is Masha and Mudga. Masha is an example for Guru Dravya. Mudga is an example for Lagu Dravya. Likewise, we can have, there are 12 Ahara Vargas told in Charaka Sutra Sthana. So we can go to any of the Ahara and bring about this classification of whether it falls to Guru category or whether it falls to Lagu category. So, or any other properties that it naturally possesses are known as the Prakriti. We should know the Prakriti. We should know, because what we should eat is basically decided by the quality that the Dravya possesses. So I cannot overeat the Masha. I cannot overeat any of the Guru Dravyas. So therefore, the natural qualities of the Ahara Dravya are to be known. That is what is Prakriti. Now the second one is Karana. Karana is after the Prakriti. When I know that these are the qualities, then is it in a position that my body is going to accept it? Is it that I can eat it as it is? Now, as it is, eating is possible in case of the fruits. In case of fruits, you don't have to do much of the karana. Only shaucha, etc. are enough. But for all other things, for all other cereals, pulses, millets, etc., we need to process them. We need to subject them for some sort of samskara, and that happens through the karana. That is, karanam punaha swabhavikanam dravyanam abhisamskaraha samskaro hi nama gunantara dhanam uchyate. We have to refine, we have to process, we have to take the raw substances and subject it to processing, and that processing, through the processing only, various food preparations are prepared. You can have yusha, you can have manda, you can have odana, you can have any mamsa rasa or any of the present day food practices of different kind of the culinary practices, that is practices that are taking place at the kitchen. So where you do processing, for example, the krita aspect, that is the, what we call it as seasoning. So all these are various samskaras. This samskara is basically meant to bring about the change in the qualities. Gunantara dhanam uchyate. So they can be by using the toya sannikarsha or agni sannikarsha or toyagni sannikarsha. So if you want to cook the rice, rice is converted into cooked rice by toya and agni sannikarsha both. Toya agni sannikarsha. Then we have shaucha, mantha, desha, Kala, Vasana, Bhavana, etc. And even Kala Prakarsha, because Kala Prakarsha, after keeping certain time, the change in the guna takes place. For example, Purana Shali is useful, that is the Shali Akki. Rice kept for 1 year is more laghu than the newly harvested rice. So that is how the processing is going to help us as far as the change in the qualities. That is the second of the Ashta Ahara Vidhi Visheshayatana. Now the third one is Samyoga. Now Samyoga are the different food combinations. So these are, of course, this happens in processing also, but the Samyoga is given more importance because the injudicious or wrong combinations are going to cause harm to the sharira. The wrong combinations are going to be causing diseases, and they are titled as Viruddha Ahara. So Viruddha Ahara are all those combinations which are going to have Deha Dhatu Pratyanika Bhuta, that are going to be harmful to the Deha Dhatu, are the Viruddha Ahara. So many such practices are there. Now also we have, for example, Acharya Vagbhata says we should never consume milk with any of the Amla Rasa Dravyas, Amla Rasa Phala. But we are seeing so many milkshakes being used. And this is also seen in terms of the number of patients. Because of this Viruddha Ahara practice, the skin diseases are on the rise, right? This is seen, and therefore it is to be remembered right at the time of entry of Ahara itself that we should avoid all possible Viruddha Aharas. Then the next important aspect is the Rashi. Rashi is the quantity of food to be consumed. Rashi can be of two kinds. We have two probable measures of identifying how much I should eat, and that can be the Sarvagraha Rashi and Parigraha Rashi. Parigraha Rashi means the Paritaha Grahana. Separately, I go on counting how much I should have rice, how much I should have chapati, how much I should eat vegetables. And if I have an individual account of all these, I call it as Parigraha Rashi. And total of what should be my quantity, and I call it as Sarvagraha Rashi. The present day food dietitians use to measure it in terms of the calories. Total day's calories will be counted, and thereafter the calorie that you should get from the carbohydrate, you should get from the fat, you should get from the protein are being segregated again. So that is what is the Sarvagraha Rashi and Parigraha Rashi, what we call as the quantity of food to be consumed in terms of food articles and in terms of collective account of the food itself. So that is the Rashi. So after the Rashi, we have the Desha. Now what is the Desha? Okay, again, Desha is the place. Desham punaha sthanam. What sthana are we talking about? Remember, we're talking about the context. The adhikarana is the ahara. So in the context of ahara, what Acharya says, saha dravyanam utpatti pracharo desha satmyam chachashthe. So there are two desha that have to be remembered here. One is Utpatti Desha and the other one is Prachara Desha. Utpatti Desha and Prachara Desha. Utpatti Desha is that place where the particular food substance is cultivated and grown. And Prachara Desha is that Desha where it is being used. We should know where it is cultivated. What is the geography of that area? Whether it belongs to Anupadesha or Jangaladesha. If it is Anupadesha, we already learned the Lakshana of Anupadesha and their effect on the Sharira and the Aushadha also. So we should know where it is cultivated and where it is used. And also it is to be understood that Desha Satmam Chachashte. So we should eat the food that is suitable to particular geographical area. For example, until yesterday, or rather until some previous few months, I was in Jangala Desha. Now I move myself to Anupadesha. So what I should do? I should gradually modify my diet to the new Desha. That is, I have to start the regimen to be practiced for Anupadesha and start tapering the regimen for Jangala Desha. That's the reason why the Desha is important. Then the Kala. Kala is Kala, Nityaga and Avastika, the two divisions of Kala. Nityaga is we learned Kshanadi and Vyadhyavastha in Ashtanga. So Nityaga is something which is going to be Gamana, Nitya always. So Avastika is conditional. So conditional in Balyavastha, what should be the Ahara? In Madhyamavastha, what should be the Ahara? In case of certain Jwara, what should be the Ahara? In case of Prameha, what should be the Ahara? In case of Sthaulya, what should be the Ahara? So those are the different Avasthas. So Avasthas are very essential for giving the kind of food. So all these are important for us only to practice. And if we know, then we certainly can advise our patients, because one of the important aspects of Ayurveda is not to treat the disease, but rather to prevent the disease. So the diseases can be prevented if we basically try and learn the practice of Ahara, Achara, that is the Ahara and Vihara as described in Dinacharya, Rutucharya, etc. So that is the avastha that has to be remembered, that has to be understood and put into use. Then Upayoga Samstha. So Upayoga Samstha means Upayoga Niyama. There are certain rules that have been mentioned as far as consuming the food is concerned, which we'll look into in the next slide itself. Upayoga Samstha, Upayoga Niyama, there are certain niyama that need to be followed. Then the last one is Upayukta, the user himself, how he can use the ahara. That is, user means you and me. We should know what we need and we should eat only that what we need. It's not that I am served this food, I should eat. That's not the criteria as per Ayurveda. As per Ayurveda, we should know what we should eat. We should eat only what we should eat. So those are the Ashta Ahara Vidhi Visheshayatana, and a very novel contribution for the mankind by Acharya Charaka. Now after this, the seventh one was Ahara Vidhi Visheshayatana. There are guidelines that has been said. Ushnam Snigdham Matravat Jirne Virya Viruddham Ishtadeshe Ishta Sarvopakaranam Nati Dratam Nati Vilambitam Majalpanasan Tanmana Bhanji Tahatmanam Abhisamiksha Samyak. These are the guidelines that we should practice while eating. While eating, we should see that our food is warm. We should see that we eat ushna, that is fresh food only. So what it means? It means it has got its own benefits. The benefits are, if you look into the benefits, they are quite astonishing. That is, ushnam hi bhujjamanam swadate. If you eat the fresh food, warm food, it is tasty. Bhujjamanam swadate. It is tasty than the cold food. So then, bhuktam cha agnim udirayati. So after the bhojana, it does the agni udirana. It increases the agni. Kshipram jaram gachati. The whole purpose is it should get digested completely. And that happens very quickly if you eat the Ushna Ahara. Then Vatanulomayati. Vata is set in its own path. Then Shleshmanam Parihrasayati. So in the Paka Prakriya, the increase of Shleshma is not going to be useful. It is an obstacle for the Ahara Paka. So therefore, this Ushna Ahara is going to reduce the Shleshma, and therefore the Paka is facilitated. Paka, that is Ahara Paka, digestion is enunciated, is given a certain impetus by the Ushna Ahara. So therefore, one should eat the Ushna Ahara. Exactly the same benefits are there for Snigdha Ahara Sevana also. We should eat the Snigdha Ahara Sevana. Snigdha opposite is Ruksha. So continuous eating of Ruksha would certainly cause a very harm to the Sharira. So every time we should, when we eat, we should make sure that there is some amount of Sneha in our food. We have to, one of the best source of Sneha happens to be the Grita. There should be at least 1-2 spoon of Grita being part of our life. Daily food is very much indicated. So Snigdha Ahara Sevana is another vidhi. And the benefits are also the same as Ushna Ahara. It is also going to increase the Agni. It is going to be giving fuel to the Agni. So that's the benefit of Snigdha Ahara Sevana. Then Matravat, we should eat the Matra, we should eat the adequate quantity. The guidelines have been said previously as Sarvagraha Rashi and Parigraha Rashi. It will be taken forward again in the next chapter, that is Trivida Kukshiya Adhyaya. That is the Matravat Ahara Sevana. Then it is said Matravat followed by Jirne Virya Viruddham. That is, after the previously consumed food is digested only, we should consume the food. That's why in our ancient ancient literature, only 2 Annakalas are mentioned. We should eat basically as following the Ayurveda, the 2 Annakalas, one in the morning and one in the evening. And so therefore, we are giving adequate time for the Paka, and we are preparing our body for the next food well in advance, so that the Agni is at the maximum. When the Agni is at the maximum, we can eat maximum food. The maximum food will be subjected to Paka Prakriya, which is going to give maximum Rasadi Dhatus, and through the maximum Rasadi Dhatus, the maximum Bala will be attained. This is the logic of having the 2 Annakala. So which gets certainly hampered if we go on eating repeatedly, even in less quantity. Even in less quantity, my Agni is getting engaged, and therefore an engaged Agni cannot be doing any good to the various metabolic activities. So therefore, we should eat the food only after previously consumed food is digested. That is Jirne Ahara. Then Virya Aviruddha, already discussed this. Then Ishta Deshta Ishta Sarvopakarana. So we should sit in a place that is comfortable for us with all required accessories, because this Anishta Desha is going to cause Manovighat. If we sit in an uncomfortable place, we cannot sit anywhere and everywhere and have food. It is quite acceptable that the psychological factor is very much essential for having food and its benefits. So the Anishta Desha is said to be Manovighatakara. That's why we should sit in an Ishta Desha, that is convenient, comfortable place, and with all necessary equipments. Of course, one of the wrong practice that happens to be, which is ideally interpreted in wrongly, that I should sit in front of the television set and go on eating. That's again not an advised practice, because if your mind is occupied with the television set, certainly the next factor you'll be not following. The next factor is Atmanam Abhisamiksha Tanmana Bhunjit. If your manas is on television channel, then you're certainly not focusing on the matra of ahara that you should. You should stop at certain point when you have sauhitya, when you have satiety, when you say that your stomach is full, you can stop eating. But the signal is given has to be understood, and therefore you have to be concentrating on what you're eating. right? If you're concentrating on television set, then certainly that signal will be missed and you'll be overeating. So therefore, Ishtadesha should never be interpreted as sitting in front of television set, seeing TV program, news program, and go on eating food. No, eating food is a ritual, and it has to be done, practiced with due respect and dedication. So therefore, tanmana, with due dedication, with due focus, only one should eat, and considering the how much I should eat. Atmanam abhisamiksha. How much I should eat. What should I eat? Where I should stop. Where I should stop is a very important aspect, because we know Sauhitya. So hitasya bhavaha sauhitya. Sauhitya is a signal that is the brain is giving to stop eating. That is, the stomach is full. So therefore you have to stop eating. So satiety is what we call it is in terms of physiology. And that happens through Atmanam Avisamiksha. And the other guidelines are there. Nati dhritam, nati vilambitam, ajalpan, ahasan. Should not do eat fast, should not be slow also, and should not talk, laugh during the eating. Eating has to be done as a ritual, and that much importance has been given to the process of eating itself. So that's what is ahara vidhi vidhana as per Charaka Samhita Vimana Sthana. So this is synoptically I have dealt in detail about this Vimana Sthana first chapter. So okay, so the second chapter talks about Trividha Kukshi. We have different guidelines regarding ahara matra. Matra, we learnt it from, matra is decided basically by Agni, as mentioned in Matrashiti Adhyaya. And what is the right quantity? The Agni will decide it, and it has to be taken into account the kind of food substances that we eat. And we also talked about Sarvagraha Rashi and Parigraha Rashi. Now we're talking about an arbitrary classification of Trividha Kukshi. The Kukshi has to be divided into 3, and we should see that only 2 of them are filled with Anna and Pana. So Kukshehe, that is, we should see that 1/3 of which should be kept empty for the moment of the doshas. And if that is followed, then certainly these would not be there. So all these lakshanas that you are seeing on the screen are the lakshana of not following, that is a lakshana of overeating, eating more of these aharas. They are kukshehe aprapidanam aharena. Okay. If we eat more, then there will be undue pressure on all other part of the body exerted by the stomach, and we feel discomfort in all our routine activities. So that's the reason why we should see that we eat only 2/3 of our belly. So there are immediately there are 2 amadoshas being mentioned here. So that is to say, if person is consuming excess food always, then he will end up with ama formation. And one important aspect is, even if the person is consuming adequate quantity, then if he is psychologically disturbed, is he suffering from shoka, etc. factors, then also there is ama formation. So for the ama, there are 2 factors. One is sharirika and the other one is manasika. So both ama can be caused by both the sharirika nidana and manasika nidana. That is what is the concern. So this ama dosha would lead to visuchika and alasaka. I don't need to give you a detailed picture of visuchika and alasaka, because you would have already learned this in your Ashtanga Hridaya also, and its chikitsa also has been mentioned to the simple possible ways. So the third chapter is Janapada Dhvamsa Vimaniya Adhyaya. So there are many factors in this chapter. I suppose all of you are in an era where we right now are seeing Janapada Dhvamsa. We are in an era of this COVID-19, and COVID-19 is certainly a Janapada Dhvamsa Vyadhi. So in that background, what I would do is I will not go into the details of these slides. Rather, I would give you an understanding of COVID-19 from the Charaka's perspective of VIMAANA, this Adhyaya itself. Now, Acharya Charaka says that there are 4 factors that are going to cause the Janapada Dhvamsa. Dushta Vayu, Dushta Desha, Dushta Kala, Dushta Jala. So these are the 4 factors. They can be any one factor, or a combination of 2 can be Janapada Dhvamsa, or a combination of all 4 can be Janapada Dhvamsa. So even singly Dushta Vayu can cause Janapada Dhvamsa, singly Dushta Jala can cause, Dushta Vayu, Dushta Jala together can also cause the Janapada Dhvamsa, and Janapada Dhvamsa is basically the mass destruction. Jana, okay. So I have to bring in other context like of Charaka Samhita, we come across with Grama, Nagara, Nigama, Janapada. Just remember these words: Grama, Nagara, Nigama, Janapada. Grama means village. Nagara means city. Nigama means a bigger than city, that is a cluster of cities. That is, in the present context, it can be a state, it can be a state of Karnataka, it can be a state of province rather. Grama, village, Nagara, cities, Nigama became the state, and Janapada is therefore the bigger than this, that is the gross area, the whole of country. So Janapada Dhvamsa means the maximum part of the community is suffering. So that kind of destruction we call as Janapada Dhvamsa. And Janapada Dhvamsa can occur through various diseases. And one such disease we are facing in the form of COVID-19. So what is the Charaka's stake? How can we understand the COVID-19 itself from this chapter? So Acharya Charaka says, in this chapter it is said that Dushta Vayu, Dushta Desha, Dushta Jala, Dushta Kala can cause the Janapada Dhvamsa. Agnivesha asks a question immediately: why the Dushti of these takes place? And to this Atreya answers, the Dushti of these is caused by the Adharma. Adharma means not doing the Veda Vihita Karma. For us, Veda Vihita Karma is not any Veda. We're not talking about any other Vedas other than Ayurveda. For us, if there is Veda Vihita Karma means Ayurveda Vihita Karma. If he is not following Ayurveda, then that itself means the Adharma. Now, what is Ayurveda? Ayurveda is basically talking about everything that one should do to maintain himself, to maintain his health. So therefore, without realizing also, there are many people who follow Ayurveda. Our tradition has been such that I am not a real graduate of Ayurveda in any college, but I am practicing Ayurveda the moment I was born. So therefore, following that is known as dharma, and not following that is known as adharma. So adharma led to the destruction of the Jala, Desha, etc., and therefore the Janapada Dhvamsa takes place. For example, on screen you can see Dushta Vayu. Dushta Vayu is because of what? Pollution. And who is polluting? Okay, there is a factory and that is emitting the gas, and the owner, the employer, the people there are doing some sort of adharma. Because of that adharma, that whole area is getting contaminated and the air pollution taking place and the diseases are manifesting. This is how the adharma will have to be understood. And so is the case with the Dushta. It is getting, the waste is thrown in the water and water pollution is taking place. People consume it and suffer from the diseases. So this is also because of one person is doing adharma and the whole community is getting affected. So likewise, in case of COVID also, there have been certain things that have taken place. For example, if you look into this COVID-19 is known as COVID-19 because it is identified as a disease in 2019. Coronavirus disease in 2019, and the first case was registered in Wuhan in China, and the history says that it was the virus that was seen in the flesh market of Wuhan, And that flesh market used to sell the meat of bats, dogs, snakes, etc. And there were references which say that the people there consumed raw meat of these animals. That is raw meat without cooking. They consumed these meat, and from where this COVID-19, from where this coronavirus started. This is what based on what the media reports are saying. So if I have to believe that, then I bring about two contexts in our own samhitas, which says that mamsa has to be, there is no scope for eating raw meat anywhere. Uncooked meat is visha, and therefore that is a violation of a prescription of Ayurveda, that is the adharma has been done there. Then there is another thing which says the krisha mamsa, krisha prani mamsa should not be eaten. Now we say bat, is it a bulky bird, or rather it's not an animal which is having enough amount of mamsa in it. So it is very krisha mamsa. So therefore there is a violation of that also. The two violations have taken place in terms of ahara in case of this COVID-19, as evident. The two violations are nothing other than the adharma. So from where the first person has contracted the COVID-19 and he started suffering from the dosha vaishamya and the lakshana, which are seen to have the jvara lakshana along with the pranamaha sroto dushti. And from where the coronavirus started spreading. And how did it spread? It spread from one person to the another person through the guidelines set in Sushruta Samhita as Sankramika Rogas, Prasangat, Gatra Sansvarshat, etc. But basically it is seen that when a person spits or coughs, the sputum is coming out, and that is containing huge amount of the viral load of this coronavirus. The coronavirus is present in the sputum, or the droplets that are coming out from the mouth and nose of someone who is having positive COVID disease. So that contains the coronavirus, and that is how the coronavirus is getting spread from one person to the another. Now, what is this droplet that is coming out? This tiny droplet is drop of water itself. And we're talking about drop of water, jala dushti. Dushta jala is a cause for the janapada dhvamsa, and that droplet, dushta jala, is the cause for the janapada dhvamsa because it is having the load of the coronaviruses in it. And that droplet is taken, carried from one place to the another place to a certain distance by Vayu. The Vayu is also getting contaminated, and therefore the Dushta Jala and Dushta Vayu are seen in the case of this COVID-19, which is causing Janapada Dhvamsa. So Dushta Vayu and Dushta Jala are evidently seen in this disease. And therefore it is spreading from one person to the another person, and we have to stop it. And you have to remember the fact that it is a kind of disease which is agantu in nature, which is an external factor. That is this organism is coming in contact with the body, and therefore it is an agantu. And agantu have to be prevented. How do we prevent the agantu? The agantu hetu have been listed in 7th chapter of STHAANA as ye bhuta vishavayavagni sampraharadi sambhavaha. So it is Vishavayu, ye bhuta vishavayavagni sampraharadi sambhavaha. That is, the Vishavayu is the cause for the disease. Vishavayu means Vayu having Visha. Vayu having the droplet of coronavirus is Vishavayu. So we have to prevent ourselves from coming in contact with Vishavayu. And how can we prevent ourselves? So we have to prevent ourselves by wearing a mask. We have to prevent ourselves by staying at home. These are, again, masks is indicated in COVID-19 because we don't want to get exposed to Vishavayu, and we want to avoid ourselves, so we maintain a social distance. This cannot be controlled, and therefore the lockdown was imposed. Lockdown means we have to stay at the home. So again, I am protecting myself that I don't come in contact with the Vishavayu containing the droplet of the COVID-19, rather coronavirus. That is how the Janapada Dhamasa roots are seen in different aspects of Charaka Samhita, which are still relevant in case of COVID-19 also. And how again Vishavayu has to be prevented. So I can take care that I don't come in contact with the Vishavayu. But there is already someone who is having Vishavayu, who is emitting this coronavirus. What can we do to him? So therefore, we have, for him, I have to do, there is no other way than I have to isolate. I have to stop at the source itself, the Vishavayu, and therefore the isolation guidelines are there. The isolation, also the guidelines taken from Charaka Samhita itself. So we have to isolate, we have to quarantine. So again, it is all to prevent the Vishavayu coming in contact with the healthy person, so that the community health is not affected. So this is the preventive guidelines mentioned in Sutra Sthana 7th chapter for any of the Agantu Vyadhi and Janapada Dhamsa through the COVID-19 is an Agantu Vyadhi. Why it is Agantu? Because it is caused by virus. And what is virus in our science? Virus in our science is as told in this Janapada Dhamsa Vimaniya Adhyaya. If you have textbook, I want you to read shloka number 22 of the Janapada Dhamsa Vimaniya Adhyaya, which says, Raksho Ganadibhihi va vividaihi bhuta sanghaihi tam adharma anyadva apacharad antaralam upalabhyam labhya abhihanyante. So that is, he is talking about the Janapada Dhamsa. Janapada Dhamsa can occur through wars. Janapada Dhamsa can occur through these Rakshasa. Janapada Dhamsa can occur through these Bhutas. Now what are these Bhutas? Bhuta, Rakshasa are the terms of Ayurveda for all those microorganisms. So all those microorganisms, we call them as Bhuta, and here is one Bhuta in the form of coronavirus, which is causing so much of trouble to the human nature, and that has been found mentioned clearly to the detail possible way in Charaka Samhita. Now, going ahead with the Janapada Dhamsa itself, the Chikitsa is also mentioned here. The Chikitsa as per Charaka Samhita is, he comes up with giving Chikitsa through the Shodhana. So rather, to be specific, he uses the word Panchakarma there. Panchakarma has to be followed by the Rasayana Dravyas and Sadvritta and Dharma. Basically, see, there is a disease, and the best possible way for that happens to be the Shodhana. After the Shodhana, the Balavriddhi has to be given importance, and Rasayana has to be followed at all the time. We should say that Sadvritta and Dharma Palana is to be done, because we don't want to make the mistake again and again and cause harm to ourselves and the society. So the Janapada Dhamsa has to be, the best way of avoiding the Janapada Dhamsa is following the Sadvritta. If everyone start doing the Sadvritta, if everyone start doing the Dharma Palana, then there will be no scope for any of the Janapada Dhamsas. Okay, that's about the Janapada Dhamsa in relation to this COVID-19. And the chapter talks about some more things. Okay, so the time right now is 11:34. Okay, so Ayu Niyatattva is another factor. There's a question that comes immediately: how long I can live? How long I can live is basically decided by Daiva and Purushakara. There are two factors known as Daiva and Purushakara. Daiva is defined as Atma Kritam Vidyat Karmam Yat Paurvadaihikam. Something that have been done by I myself in the previous life is known as Daiva. And if I have done my past karma is good, then by virtue of that I will be given a good life now also. But even if it is not good, I have something called as Purushakara. Purushakara means something that I do now. And if I do everything that the acharyas have been prescribing, that is nothing other than following, in nutshell, the dinacharya, the rutucharya, the sadvritta, the concepts told in the Vega, Roganuta, Rutpadaniya, Adhyaya, etc. If we follow those things only, then we can certainly live a longer life. So therefore, these are the mantra for longevity. Mantra for longevity, if you look into the Ashtanga Hridaya first chapter, what says? Brahme muhurtam uttishte swastho rakshartham ayusha. What it says? If a person who is desirous of living long should wake up in the Brahma Muhurta. Now, even if you don't do anything, just wake up at that time, you are going to live long. That much authoritatively the shloka is written. You don't do anything. You don't do anything at all. Just wake up at that time. Wake up in the Brahma Muhurta, you will have the benefit of longevity. So to such an extent, the emphasis has been laid. So we should follow the Dinacharya and Rutucharya, and that is the only method of making our body fit and immune. Because however rasayana dravyas we eat, if my routine life is not correct, then that rasayana dravya is going to be of no use. If I wake up at 8 o'clock and take my breakfast, then I go for bath, then certainly whatever chavana prasha you take, whatever the golden milk you take, it is not going to be of any use. So therefore, the first thing is Purushakara. Purushakara is having a healthy lifestyle. Having a good, healthy lifestyle is very much essential for longevity. So that is the daiva that has been done in the past, and what you are doing right now are the two factors on which how long you will live is decided. So if both the daiva and purushakara are strong, then certainly we will be given with a longer life. Longer life means more opportunity to experience life and more opportunity to do good to the society and for myself. So that is the reason why we should live long. That is the reason why Praneshana is mentioned in the first of the Ashana, and so those are the two factors that will decide how long I will live. And if both are strong, certainly I can live for long. So that's the Daiva and Purushakara aspect of the Janapada Dhamsa Vimani Adhyaya. The Kala Mrityu and Akala Mrityu, okay, we'll skip this. Ushnodak. Okay. So the next chapter is Trividha Roga Vishesha Vijnaniya Adhyaya. Trividha Roga Vishesha Vijnaniya Adhyaya is the fourth chapter of VIMAANA STHAANA, where we talk about the clinical examination of the patient. Now there are three tools that the acharyas are emphasizing. Now otherwise also in Sutra Sthana 11th chapter we came across with the Chaturvidha Pariksha. विविधमेव खलु सर्वं सच्चा सच्च तस्य चतुर्विध परीक्षा आप्तोपदेश प्रत्यक्षानुमानम युक्तिश्चेति. Those were the four pramanas documented there. Now in this context, Charaka is talking about only three. So when it comes to the applied aspect of the pramanas, we have only three pramanas. You have to remember it. From the Ayurveda perspective, the pramanas useful for the Roga Pariksha, Rogi Pariksha are three in number, and they are Aptopadesha, Pratyaksha and Anumana. Then where did the Yukti go? Yukti has gone nowhere. It will be here in these three only. We'll look into that. But remember, from the philosophical perspective, we have different pramanas. But Ayurveda is based on the darshanas. Ayurveda is not doesn't mean that what all darshana says is accepted for Ayurveda. Because in context of Anumana, you'll find because in your Anumana, you go on explaining Paksha, Dharmata, Sadhya, etc. And those are all the foundations for applying those things in when a patient comes to us. So our Anumana is basically the inferences based on underlying what I see in a patient with what has happened inside him. That's what is the scope of Anumana. And Aptopadesha, Pratyaksha, Anumana, the Trividha Pariksha. The benefits of Aptopadesha, okay, everything of how and what to be done is told to you by Apta only. Unless until you are taught in your bedside clinic by your Roganidhana teacher, you can never do examination, clinical examination. Unless until you are taught by your Samhita teacher or your the Roganidhana teacher again regarding the clinical examination in theory, because it is belonging to the two domains. There has to be cognitive, that is a theory has to be taught regarding the method of examination. Then practically it has to be demonstrated to you how to conduct the examination. Then only the completion of Aptopadesha takes place. So Aptopadesha is through the teacher that you will be trained to conduct the clinical examination, and that is again the gross spectrum of what all you will be learning through the Aptopadesha is made available on screen. That is Rogam Ekaikam Evam Prakopanam. These are the Prakopana Hetu of the Roga. This is the source of yoga, Yoni, Utthana, these are the Nidanas. Then Atmanam, these are the Pratyatma Lakshanam. This is the Adhishtana, these are the Vedana, these are the other Lakshana, Samsthana. This is the Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. This is the Upadrava, etc. Everything will be told to you by the Apta, by your teacher, by your Samhita, by your, okay, the teacher. Apta is a word which is symbolizing the source of you getting trained. It can be your own teacher, it can be through a YouTube, you will know it. You can have this knowledge through, however, whatever may be the source, or whatever be the source is Apta only. So Aptopadesha is the first one. Then you have Pratyaksha. Okay, this is in detail told in Charaka Samhita, where all you can apply your Indriyas. So remember, you may use stethoscope, you may use any microscope, you may use any highly sophisticated gadgets. But basically at the end, you have to apply your own Indriya to see, you have to apply your own Indriya to hear, you have to apply your own Granendriya to smell. So basically it all comes to our own Indriyas. So technologically, however advanced we are, but we cannot do anything without our Indriyas, and Indriyas are essential for Pratyaksha Pariksha, and Pratyaksha Pariksha has to be done through the Pancha Jnanendriya, and that's told through this chapter, that is told in this Adhyaya itself. So the third one is the Anumana. Now, I asked you, where did the Yukti go? Because Yukti was there in the 11th chapter as for Pramanas. Where did Yukti disappear? Yukti hasn't disappeared anywhere. Yukti has been incorporated in the definition of Anumana itself. So when we talk about Anumana, our scope of Anumana in clinical examination is not just Hetu Sadhya Sambandha, it is Bahukarana Yoga in itself. We have to take into all the cumulative effect and infer. And the guidelines have been said also as Agnim Jarana Shaktya Pariksheta, Balam Vyayama Shaktya, Harsham Mahamodena, Pritim Toshena, Bhayam Vishadena, etc. That's happening. The clear guidelines for clinical examination, the culmination of the clinical examination is taking place through the Trividha Pramana. Trividha only. Just remember, when it comes to the Pariksha, the clinical examination, the Pramana or the Pariksha Sadhana are only 3. Okay. The 5th chapter is Sroto Vimani Adhyaya. I'll only talk about 2 aspects in this chapter. We no need to go into the detail of each of those srotas. So the content is there on the screen. There are definition of srotas. See, remember, this is a very important definition. So definition of srotas is Srotamsi khalu parinamam apadyamananam dhatunam abhivahini bhavanti ayanarthena. If there are any PG students, then I would like to bring to your opinion. Shlok number 4 of Sroto Vimani Adhyaya talks. Apicha eke srotasameva samudayam purusham icchanti. Okay. There are some people who say that the whole body is said to be sroto samudaya. This is an ekiya mata. This is a single opinion coming in the Charaka Samhita, and the Acharya says that there are people who say that the whole body is Sroto Samudaya. So a question comes, is it true? Is it true? Yeah, it can be true, because Acharya says Srotamsi Siradhamani Rasayannaha Rasavahinyaha Nadyaha Panthanaha Sharira Chidra. If everything is this only, then obviously the whole Sharira should be Sroto Samudaya. Is it correct or not is the first question. So where you have to apply some Tantra Yuktis in understanding this, and this is the Purva Paksha. Purva Paksha is one among the Tantra Yuktis. If you remember, Purva Paksha is something that is a statement made by one party. We call it as Purva Paksha, and this is the Purva Paksha. What is the Uttara Paksha? Uttara Paksha, as per Charaka Samhita, is Natu Etadevaha. This is not true. This is not true, because yasya hi srotamsi yaccha vahanti yaccha vahanti yaccha avastitani sarve tat tat annebhyah. This is not true, because what it is made up of, this srotas is made up of certain material, and that is different from what it is carrying. Natu etat yaccha hi srotamsi yaccha vahanti, what it carries is different, and yaccha avahanti, what is its destination is different, and where it is located is also different, and therefore it is not true to say that it is the whole Sharira is said to be Sroto Samudaya. So this is Purva Paksha, Uttara Paksha. So what is happening is, it is Purva Paksha can be accepted or refuted. If the refutation takes place, then we call it as Pratyutsara. Pratyutsara is one among the Tantra Yukti, where we reject the first statement and we establish, and establishing is known as Uddhara. Pratyutsara Uddharaha Tantra Yuktayaha. That's how the shloka ends. So Uddhara also takes place in this chapter itself. So that is about the Srotas definition, the Sroto Samudayatva, and we have different kind of Srotasas. And in this chapter, the content says, we talk about the Sroto Mula, Sroto Dushti Hetu, Sroto Dushti Lakshana, and the Sroto Dushti Samanya Chikitsa, Chikitsa Siddhanta for each of the Srotas. And at the end, Acharyas mention about Samanya Sroto Dushti Hetu and Samanya Lakshana. And the Samanya Sroto Dushti Hetus are Aharascha, Viharascha, Yahasyat Dosha Gunai Samaha, Dhatubir Vigunaischapi Srota Samsa Pradoshaka. Ahara and Vihara, that is similar to the doshas, and that is opposite to the Dhatu, and Viguna need not be opposite. So Viguna means Guna which is not Saguna. Viguna can be opposite or different. So which is different from the dhatus is going to be Sroto Dushti Hetu. And point of concern here is Dushti. When we talk about Dushti, it need not be only physiological Dushti. The Kriyatmaka Dushti can even be leading to structural deformities of the Srotasas by our own Ahara and Vihara. There is derangement, there are disc prolapse taking place, there are so many things that the structures itself are getting affected by the Ahara and Vihara. So these are the Samanya Hetu of Sroto Dushti, and Samanya Lakshana are told as Ati Pravritti Sango va Sirhanam Granthayopi va Vimarganam Japi Srotasam Dushti Lakshanam. And in your Roga Nidana, you learn these themselves as Sroto Dushti Prakara. These they teach you as the types of Sroto Dushti as Ati Pravritti Sangas, Sira Granthi and Vimarganamana, which are okay. That's the synoptically the Sroto Vimaniya Adhyaya. The Roganika Vimaniya Adhyaya talks about the classification grouping of diseases and gives you an important concept of Anubandhya, Anubandha. And okay, it talks about Chaturvidha Agni, and the Chaturvidha Agnis are being told about, he told here. and the Agni relationship with the Prakriti has been mentioned, and he immediately says that these we should call it as Vatala, Pittala and Shleshmala. And the definition for Agni, that is what is Samagni, what is Vishamagni, what is also mentioned here, which is very important because the shloka is the 12th shloka of the 6th chapter. What it says, Tatra Tikshno Agnihi Sarva Apachara Sahaha. That is, Tikshna Agni is that Agni which is going to sustain all kind of wrongdoings. Sarva Apachara Saha. If you eat Vruddhahara, it is going to digest. If you eat Atimatra Ahara, it is going to digest. Such an Agni is known as Tikshna Agni. Now, Tad Viparita Lakshanastu Mandaha. So, Viparita Lakshana is Manda. So, you find another Tantra Yukti in our Samhitas, Viparyaya Tantra Yukti. So, Viparyaya example, we talk about these as an example. Tad Viparita Lakshanastu Mandaha. Samastu Khalu Apacharato Vikritim Apadyate Anapacharastu Prakritavatisthate. So, Sama Agni is that kind of Agni where if you follow the dietetic regimens, it won't harm, but if you don't follow, it certainly harms. So, if it that is Samagni. So, opposite of Sama is said to be Vishama. So, those are the 4 Agnis, and these are predominantly seen in the person having Vatala, Pittala, Shleshmala, and Samaprakriti. So, Vatala will have Vishamagni, and for him to restore his Agni, we have to follow certain regimen. We have to see that he is always under management. So, that is said as there are certain guidelines based on the condition. We should follow the dietetic regimen for him. Even he may require some therapies also. The shloka is shloka reference is shloka number 16 of this chapter. That is Tasya Ava Jayanam Sneha Svedo Vidhiyukto Mruduni Cha Samshodhanani. So based on the condition, we may need to give him modification in terms of his he may need to be modified lifestyle, or if the Agni is extremely Vishama, we may need to be treated based on the Mrudushodhana or Basti, etc. Now I repeat that this is the context from which the Doshopakramaniya Adhyaya Charaka Samhita is derived, taken from, and is an important aspect as far as the Chikitsa is concerned. And whole is focused to bring about the normalcy in Agni. Agni has to be taken to a state of Samagni, that is what is the purpose. And once the Samagni is restored, then we can have a regular Dinacharya, Rutucharya, etc. That's what is to be followed. And this is important because we already learned in Sutrasthana, that is certain kind of persons are said to be always deceased, and we call them as Sadatura. Sadatura are Vataladya Sadatura. Vataladya Sadatura means they are always prone to certain diseases of that particular dosha. For example, the Vatala person will be prone to Vata Vyadhi, a Pittala person will be prone to Pittaja Vyadhi. The amount of Hetu required for Pitta Vriddhi in case of Pittala Prakriti is not much, and therefore they need to be managed always, and that's why they are known as Sadatura. The Sadatura link has to be established with this Vyadhita, this context of the Roganika Indriyadhyaya. The next chapter happens to be the Vyadhita Rupa. Okay, but the chapter has been titled as Vyadhita Rupa because there are 2 extremes when you sit in your OPD and the patient starts coming to you. Then usually most 90% of the patient will be normal with giving you a picture of what is their problem. But there are two possibilities, 2 extremes are there. One we call as Guru Vyadhita and the other one we call as Raghu Vyadhita. What are these 2 extremes? The 2 extremes, there can be a person who is suffering from a very small disease, but will be making hue and cry in such a way that he is suffering from any major disease and has to be addressed immediately. So as a physician, we should try to understand his disease based on the clinical examination, not by looking at his appearance or his hue and cry, etc. So on the contrary, he may be suffering from any major disease, but he is very calm, composed, and giving us an idea that he is suffering from nothing. That also has to be discriminated. So we have to identify two extreme possibilities of Laghu Vyadhita and Guru Vyadhita. Those are the two Vyadhita. After this chapter talks about the various krimis. There are 20 krimis documented here, and they categorized as Bahyamalaja krimi, Shonitaja krimi, Shleshmaja krimi, Purishaja krimi, etc. So krimi, again, I am reminded of COVID. This coronavirus, is it a krimi? Certainly it's a krimi. It's all because all microorganisms, we call it as krimi. And this, where was this first noted? This coronavirus is seen to be more abundant in the genitals of the bats. The bat genitals have got a huge load of this coronavirus. Then the bats suffer from the COVID-19? No. So therefore, the COVID-19, this coronavirus is Sahaja krimi for bats. Sahaja means non-harmful. So the krimi's classification is provided in this chapter as Sahaja and Vaikarika. Sahaja means those which are not going to harm us. So likewise, human body also has got so many krimis, so many bacilli, so many lactobacilli. Our intestinal flora has got so many various microorganisms which are not harmful, rather they are useful. So all those krimis we call as Sahaja krimi, and those which are going to cause us vikara are called as Vaikarika krimi. So this coronavirus is a Sahaja krimi for bats, Vaikarika for humans. So the krimis are there, and the krimis have been categorized as Malaja, Shonitaja, Shleshmaja, Purishaja, etc. And the Chikitsa Siddhanta also has been mentioned. We'll quickly look into the Chikitsa Siddhanta and go to the last chapter. So Apakarshana, Prakriti Vighata, Nidana Parivarjana are said to be the three line of treatment. First one is Apakarshana. In case of the krimis are there, we have to remove them. If they are external, they can be removed as shown in this on the screen. They can be removed. The lysis on the head has to be removed by that the small instruments, etc. And if they are located within the Sharira, they have to be forcefully eliminated. And there's only one method of eliminating from them from the Sharira, and that happens to be through Shodhana. So we have to remove them by either Vamana, Virechana, etc. So that's how it has to be progressed. Prakriti Vighata is the next. Prakriti Vighata is the Vighata of the Prakriti, that is the Prakriti of the krimis or the Prakriti in which the krimis are present. So the environment favorable for krimi has to be addressed, and thereby it cannot sustain anymore. And therefore we have, in case of krimi roga, we have niruhavastis, the kashayas being provided. The vidanga itself is a krimigna dravya which is acting as prakriti vighata in nature. And the third one is avoiding the nidana. Okay, refraining ourselves from nidana is another important aspect of krimi chikitsa. So these are the krimi chikitsa siddhanta as mentioned in this chapter of Vyadhita Rupiya Adhyaya. The last chapter is perhaps the biggest chapter of the Vimana Sthana. So in this chapter, what is there? Okay, on screen you can see some points. I will add two sentences to each of those and finish the presentation. So first one is Shastra Pariksha. We already discussed this. Shastra Pariksha is the selection of the science that you want to study. You have already selected. There is no scope for you to select. But you should know. You should know because you can select hereafter any other sciences. So you should know that science should be Yashasvi, Dhira Purusha Sevitam, Artha Bahulam. These are the Shastra Lakshanas. If any Shastra is having these qualities, then only you should select it. Then you have the next one is Acharya Pariksha. I said it is selection of the medical colleges these days. You have Trividha Jnanopaya in the form of Adhyayana, Adhyapana and Tadvidya Sambhasha, which are the primary rules for primary things to be done for a Jnanopaya for the study, because among these also Tadvidya Sambhasha is said to be the most important. Tadvidya Sambhasha is Buddhi Vardhananam. So, okay. These are the benefits of Tadvidya Sambhasha. Tadvidya Sambhasha is basically Bhishak Bhishaja Saha Sambhashit. A physician should interact with a physician. So this happens through various seminars, conferences where interaction, it may be one-on-one interaction or interaction with the group. Okay. So what are the benefits? Benefits are Jnana Abhiyoga Samharshakari. So it gives you happiness because you are gaining the knowledge. And Vaisharadyam Vaisharad, okay, Vaisharat means the clarity in the concepts is established by interaction. Vachana Shaktim Adatte, your communication skills are getting increased. You have clarity and you can say with clear mind and speech, because Vag and Artha are very essential when we talk about communication. And if you are an effective communicator, you are always bound to be yashasvi. The success, the name and fame comes immediately if you are good in communication. Then sandehe samshayasya aprakarshanam. If there are any doubts, then those doubts are clarified. And if you don't know anything, those unknown things are also known in any seminars or any sambhasha. Ashruta Vishaya Shravana. So you can hear the Ashruta Vishaya. That is, so far I don't know this, I am knowing this now. Those are the benefits of going in for any Tadvidya Sambhasha. And the Sambhasha is of two kinds. One is Sandhaya and the other one is Vigrihya. It can be based on the community that is involved. It can be Pravara, Pratyavara and Sama. So Pravara means when you are sitting with learned people, you are in Pravara Sambhasha. Pratyavara, where basically you will be teaching to the students. Then Sama, that is you yourself with your friends, you sit and talk. That is Sama Sambhasha. So the Parishat again can be of two kinds, Jnanavati and Mudha Parishat. Parishat, okay. Then there is, I'll talk about this Vada and we will be closing this presentation. I'm ready to take any questions that are coming hereafter. Vada is defined as Vadohi Namayat Parena Shastra Purvakam Vigrihyam Kathayati. Vada is basically debate. Debate will have a different Maryada. You have to set the guidelines before you start any debate. Debate can be Jalpa Vitanda, and these are the 44 Vada Marga Padas that are there on the screen, which you should know before you initiate any debate. And you know, all this is falling in the category of Tadvidya Sambhasha. Tadvidya Sambhasha is the Sambhasha meant for increasing knowledge. So therefore, this Vada also is meant for increasing the knowledge. So that was one of the benefit of the Tadvidya Sambhasha was said to be Vachana Shaktim Adatte. Vachana Shakti means the communication. The communication means we have to talk to the other people. And in the olden period, you could effectively talk to the people because the society was not big. So now, since the society has grown manifold, we're not in a position to talk to each and everyone. So what we can do? There is another form of communication being established, and that form of communication is in the written form. So we can write, and for writing also these are the guidelines. So these guidelines are the Vada guidelines for writing an article, for writing a case sheet, for writing any document. Even if you want to write any textbook, then you can make use of all these Vada Marga Padas. So those are the applied aspects of Vada Marga Pada. There's not enough time to go into each and every of these. The last important aspect is Karana, Dashavida Pariksha Bhava. So synoptically, I have presented here. So Dashavidha Atura Pariksha falls in the category of the Desha Pariksha of Dashavidha Pariksha Bhava, where we have to do Prakriti, Vikriti, Sara, Samhanana, Pramana, Satmya, Sattva, etc. Type of Pariksha. So I conclude with a basic mentioning that this is a big and important sthana to be studied. I insist all of you, as a student, we should read each and every shloka of this sthana, or to be specific, the whole of Samhitas, and get the meaning as it is. So, because say for example, in Vayataha Pariksha on the screen you can see Vayataha Pariksha. What is Vayas? Vayas is defined as the status of human body in relation to the Kala. Now, we know when we talk about Vayas, if you look into any of the modern book, they immediately talk about two type of Vayas. One is chronological aging and second one is biological aging. So it is chronological aging. He has used the word Kala. From birth until this time, what is his age is chronological aging, and then he talks about the status of Deha in relation to the Kala. He is talking about biological aging also. Then he talks about Trividha Vaya as Balya, Madhya, etc. So again, Chakrapani gives so much of light on this. So therefore, I insist you go open the Samhitas, read it in its native form and understand it in its Mula Swarupa, then you think of applying it. So with these words, I again thank the organizers for bringing me an opportunity, or rather sharing this synoptic view on this vast and perhaps the most important among the 8 sthana, among the 8 sthana, because it contains the typically distinct factors that are very essential as a student of Ayurveda to know. And as I said, it deals with these factors of dosha, veshaja, Desha, Kala, Bala, Sharira, Sattva, Ahara, Satmya, Sattva, Prakriti, Vayas. This is what is Vimana Sthana. Now I stop my presentation. Again, thank the organizers, the principal, the HOD, Sujan Shetty sir, BH Katti sir, Arvind sir, and other friends for making this opportunity, for giving an opportunity to have a talk with you all. So if there are any questions, I'm here to take them up.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the presentation. Can you move for the question, sir? Is it audible, sir? Sir, is it audible?
Yeah. You are audible. Question. I'm hearing all of you. You can ask the questions.
Okay, sir. There is a question. The less dependency of a pathogen on adharma makes a successful pandemic. Adharma only helps to exacerbate the outbreak and its proliferation. If a successful pathogen depends on a modes of a transmission like Nishvasa, Gatra Sansparsha, which are not adharma in the normal time, people are required to change their behavior to reduce the spread of the diseases. I think then the meaning of a dharma and adharma to change for a time being.
Okay. I heard the question.
Okay,
Now,
sir. Thanks.
Okay. See, what happens in Janapada Dhvamsa is, Janapada Dhvamsa, we are learning this present context of COVID-19 as a disease. Point of concern here is Janapada Dhvamsa is a mode of understanding the spread, the onset and the propagation of the disease. And remember, it cannot be directly linked as a hetu. It's a mode of spread. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. It's a hearing, sir.
Okay. So what happens is adharma is basically a wrongdoing. It's a wrongdoing which can happen at any point of time. So it means that this Ayurveda is basically meant for humans, and human, be it anywhere, any part of the globe, they have to follow the dharma. And adharma done anywhere can cause problem. That's the basic meaning. And for this to occur, then obviously a question comes, then why everyone is not getting affected also? So there are certain other factors. I have a very strong bala, my body is immune. Even if that virus comes in contact with me, I have two components of my vyadhi kshamatva, that is vyadhi bala pratibandhaka and bala nirodhitva. So my body is quite capable that it rejects the virus. Now, even if the virus has made an entry into it, my immunity is strong enough to fight it out. So those are the two kinds. We have something called as the term avahana in our samhitas, which says because of regular non-practice of our dinacharya ritucharya, there is some sort of dosha sanchaya taking place always. And the dosha sanchaya is a favorable environment for any of those viruses. And therefore it comes. So even if prasanga, gatra samsparsha, etc. are practiced, they are said to be the mode of communication of the diseases. It is not that everyone will suffer from the disease. This is exactly the question that was asked by Agnivesha in the beginning of Janapada Dhamsa, when Punarasvatreya says you have to collect certain drugs because I am seeing the onset of Janapada Dhamsa Vyadhis. So he asks, how can a same disease manifest in all the humans? Because there is so much of diversity between each of them. Atreya says there is a chance that most of us are becoming affected because of common sources. So therefore, that's the Ayurvedic understanding. So there is no need to redefine dharma or adharma, because for us dharma is karma only. For us doing dinacharya is the dharma. For us doing sadvrata is the dharma. For us not suppressing the vega is dharma. So all that the Ayurveda talks about is not need not be purely philosophical. When I say dharma, I'm talking about dharma in relation to the sharira only. For the Ayurveda, because this is this Veda which is created for the humans only. It is for the life only. Longevity, Ayush Kama is the origin. We're not talking about the dharma or the life after the death, etc. They are important, but they are not too important. So therefore, there is no scope or no meaning for to redefine anything as far as the dharma, etc. is concerned. So dharma already defined. Veda Vihita Karma is dharma. Veda Vihita for us is Ayurveda Vihita Karma. Ayurveda Vihita Karma are Ayurveda Upadesheshu Videyaha Paramadaraha. So that's how it has to be understood. Okay, next question.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Is there any difference between Tantra Guna and Shastra Lakshana?
Tantra Guna and Shastra Lakshanas.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is a syllabus point also that was there. We have a different level of understanding of these. One big domain of learning various things related to the Samhitas and Samhita Adhyayana happens to be the Tantra Gunas. Tantra Guna means the various characteristics of the Tantra. Under this, we have Shastra Lakshana. Under this, we have Tantra Yukti. Under this, we have Tachilya. Under this, we have Arthashraya, Kalpana, etc. So Tantra Guna is a big topic under which we have to learn all these things. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir. Next question. What is the difference between the Sroto Mula and Ka Vaigunya?
Okay. Sroto Mula. Okay. Mula means the root. Kha Vaigunya is the place where the Srotas has attained Vigunatva. Vigunatva means it is either structurally or functionally deranged. So that can happen anywhere throughout the course of the Srotas. Now, when we talk about Sroto Mula, there are two Mula identified for each of the Srotas. What is this? So when we talk about Srotas, we are talking about tube-like structure. We're talking about tube-like structure for any of the Srotas, and usually that's what he says, Ayanartha. When he says Ayana as tube-like structure, he is talking about tube, and that tube will have two ends. A tube will have an opening and end. That's the basic understanding of Sroto Mula. And from here, we talk about understanding. Chakrapani comments the Sroto Mula as Prabhavasthana. Now, what is the Prabhavasthana? Prabhavasthana will be interpreted in terms of the origin of the Srotas, in terms of the origin of the avahana, the content, that is the poshaka dhatu, or intake of the origin of the disease itself. So these are the three different meaning of the term Prabhavasthana. Prabhavasthana for Rakta happens to be the Yakrit and Pliha, which are basically the end points where the what is the content is being taken, is being carried out, and the Raktavaha, Sroto, Dushti, Lakshanas are also directly linked to them only. So these are the three parameters on which the Sroto Dushti has to be understood, as well as the Sroto Mula are to be understood. Khavaigunya is different, where the Dosha Dosha Samurchana takes place, and this takes place only at the place where the Vigunatva is there in the Srotas. And based on this only, different diseases are manifesting. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir. Next question. So Taila is the best in Vata, Grita and Madhu in Pitta, Kapha respectively.
Okay.
How do Taila helpful in both Vatarutti and Vatakshaya? How can we substantiate with respect Samanya Vishesha Siddhanta?
No. It is not that it is useful in Vata Vruddhi and Vatakshaya both. So what the context says, it was there in the first chapter. First chapter, he clearly mentions the guna of Taila and Vata are opposite. And the guna of Taila and Vata are opposite. And because of this opposite nature, the Taila is going to reduce the Vata. That is the direct and simple meaning. And I think the question has got a bigger meaning. Can you repeat, or can the student herself or himself ask the question? See, the shloka says, Tatra Tailam Sneha Aushnya Gaurava Upapannatvad Vatam Jayati Satatam Abhyasyamanam. See what it means. So, I'll give you a basic simple meaning. Vata is a dosha, and Vata dosha is going to increase in our body because of so many things that are happening within the body. Because my 24 hours, I do so many things. I go for shopping, I go walking, I go talking, I do so many exercises, and this all is going to increase the Vata. Now, what should I do? I should do to mitigate this Vata. I should see that I should find a Dravya that is having opposite to the gunas of Vata. So what I do every morning, because of this Vata Sanchaya, I have to reduce it at that level itself. So what I do, I should go in for Abhyanga. For Abhyanga, I use Taila. The Taila Abhyanga is going to reduce the vata, vruddha vata. Previous day, because of my 24-hour activity, the vata vruddhi has taken place. I now reduce it by abhyanga. So that's how he says, satatam abhyasyamanaha. If someone is using this on a daily basis, in him, the vata vruddhi doesn't take place. So this is the simple meaning of how vata is being addressed by the taila. Next question.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Please brief on the topic of Prakriti Samasamanyata and Vikriti Vishama Samanyata.
Okay. So if you have Samhita in your hand, it runs like this. Basically, it's, if you remember, it started with rasa, dosha, dravya, vikara, prabhava, and we are talking about the effect of rasa and effect of dravya. Rasa on dosha, rasa and dosha in terms of dravya and vikara. Now the shloka runs like this. As I said, we have to understand the samhitas in their native meaning. So there are 3 doshas and there are 6 rasas. Each of their relationship has been said, and it has been said that if the rasas are in single form, that is anupa srishta rasa. If the rasa is single, then it acts as that. But we rarely find any dravya having single rasas. So therefore, the shloka number 8 in the first chapter itself says, Samsarga vikalpa vistaro hi esham aparisankheyo bhavanti vikalpa bedad aparisankheya. So these combinations are many. A rasa combination and the dosha combinations are many, because when we talk about rasa combinations, I can talk about combination of rasa with 1 rasa, 2 rasa, 3 rasa, 4 rasa, 5 rasa. Then I can talk about the combination in the rasa itself, that is madhura, madhuratara, madhuratama. So is the case with the various gunas of vata, pitta, kapha also. The combinations are many, and in such many combinations, the next shloka, the 8th shloka is, he talked about the combinations are many. In such many combinations, how do I understand? How do I understand whether the prabhava is, what is the nature of action? So which is told in the next shloka, that is 9th shloka. What it says? Tatra khalu aneka raseshu draveshu aneka doshatmakeshu cha vikareshu rasa dosha prabhavam ekaikasena abhisamiksha tato dravya vikarayoho prabhava tattvam vyavasyet. So aneka raseshu draveshu, if a dravya is having many rasas, if a dravya is having more than 1 rasa, its rasa prabhava has to be understood. How do we understand the rasa prabhava of this dravya which is having more than 1 rasa? So it is based on the combination of rasas and based on the pradhana and anurasa. So pradhana and anurasa concepts are there in the Matrashit in the 26th chapter. So based on this rasa, I have to ascertain the karma. And where we find the karma? The karma is already told. The Madhura Rasa karma are told in certain part of the Samhitas. You have to go to that context and get the meaning. So if the dravya is having Madhura and Amla, what are the cumulative karma? So you have to get the karma from that reference and get the meaning. So the guidelines have been said. Now what is expected out of you is, you have to do it here. If you have a dravya which is having more than 1 rasa, then you have to study it and talk about cumulative effect. Now you have to do it. But foremost, this has been done already by our samhitas. That's why we have some set of dravyas having madhura rasa, rather the jwaragna or trishna nigraha, etc. already identified. They have established it. Now, this is understandable. Now, there are many things There are many things. For example, if Madhura Rasa is there, Amla Rasa is there, the combined effect is there in the already told in the Samhitas. If it follows, then we don't have any problem in understanding. If it follows that, we don't have any problem in understanding. If it follows, then we call it as Prakriti Samsamveta. If it doesn't follow, we call it as Vikriti Vishama Samveta, because the rasas are, because he talks about three different reasons why it is not following it. Tatra thu khalu, the next shloka I'm talking about, 10th shloka. Natu evam khalu sarvatra, nahi vikriti vishama samvetanam nanatmakanam parasparena cha upahatanam annaischa vikalpanaihi vikalpitanam avayava prabhava anumaneva sa samudaya prabhavatvam adhyavasatum shakyam. So it is not possible for us to ascertain the combined effect based on individual effect. So I say there is Madhura Karma, Madhura is Prinana, if say, then the Amla is Hridya. If I have a combination, I say it is Prinana and Hridya both. If it does it, then it is following Prakriti Samasamaveta. Then it is not necessary that Dravya should always be following this. So why it is not following this? Because of these reasons. Because of these reasons, what are these? They are nanatmakanam. The dravyas are many. And paraspara upahatanam. A madhura rasa can defeat the lavana rasa in a dravya. And if it is defeating lavana rasa, ravana rasa will not show its karma. And therefore, the karma, it will not be combined effect. So the effect will be different. So vikalpanaihi vikalpitanam. So because of different combinations, etc. So the avayava prabhava, that is the single prabhava, 1 plus 1 cannot be made 2. And therefore, if it doesn't become 1 plus 1 doesn't become 2, then certainly it is a difficulty for us to understand at this point. So therefore, the Samhitas have come up with this is what is the probable plausible explanation for the Vichitra Pratyarabdha or the Prabhava. So to the larger extent, the Prabhava have also been enunciated in our Samhitas, but for this requires a different understanding of different combinations, and the cumulative effect then only can be ascertained. So this is what is the meaning of the Prakriti Samasamaveta and Vikriti Vishama Samaveta. It is basically guidelines which are given to know the Dravya Karma, to know the Prabhava of the Dravyas. If it is following Prakriti Samasamaveta, it becomes Chintya. If it is following Vikriti Vishama Samveta, it becomes Achintya. Achintya will be otherwise known as Prabhava. So this is the meaning of Prakriti Samsamveta and Vikriti Samsamveta. Chakrapani has discussed this in elaboration. If you read the Chakrapani commentary, you will find some examples of dravyas also in this context to elucidate the Prakriti Samsamveta and Vikriti Vishama Samveta Siddhantas. We'll go to the next question.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Can Yadrucha, chance event, cause a Janapada Dvamsa, like by distributing the Prakrita, Vayu, Jala, Desha, and Kala? Example, storage of inflammable substances for cooking in a region which would experience wildfire the next day.
Okay. So, Yadricha, chance. See, Yadricha is a term that we don't often find in our Samhitas, because or rather there are two contexts in which the word Yadricha is coming in our Samhitas. Basically, it is coming in the Punarjanma Siddhanta, and the other one is the Sushruta says Swabhavam Ishwaram Kalo. So yeah, chance is something that has got a very limited scope. And we believe, our philosophy also believes, that there isn't anything as chance. All that has to be done by Purusha only. And therefore, chance factor can be a mistake made by a man himself. And therefore, if I read, can Yadricha cause Janapada Dvamsa by disrupting the Prakrita Vayu, Jala, Desha, inflammations of cooking, So all these are not the, I mean, they may be, you may see them as yadricha, but if you look into the grossly understand, because what all we do, Atmanam Abhisamiksha or Desha Kala Atma Vijnana are very essential. So if you say, for example, storage of inflammable, I'll take a simple example. A LPG gas is being taken by a lorry from one place to the another place, and the lorry falls down and the whole area gets contaminated. There are 10 people in that village also die. We have Janapada Dhamsa here. Now this Janapada Dhamsa, is it Yadricha? No, it is not an Yadricha, because it is a sort of adharma that has been done by a person who was driving that lorry. So therefore, it has to have a human cause. It will have a human cause, then only it will be adharma, and therefore it's not the yadricha. Yadricha is, it's how you see it. Basically, our perspective of seeing a particular event has to change. If we say chance factor, then there is no scope for improving, bettering. If we see the cause, and cause obviously is seen, is evident. There may be the accident is made by a driver. There may be other causes for accident. The driver could not control the vehicle because of the road not being in good condition. Why the road is not in good condition? Maybe the road, someone who has made road is not in good condition. That is the adharma caused by him. Or the administration himself, the king himself has not monitored the road in a proper way. That is adharma done by him. So it is, the karana is there in the purusha, and yadricha doesn't stand the validity of time and doesn't stand the purpose also. So therefore this cause always happens to be the purusha in case of adharma. Taratama. Okay, reference, you have to open and the references for Tara and Tama. These are there in the commentaries. These are not directly in Charaka Samhitas. Next question. This is, I read this Shubha question. Sir, can we know the meaning of Tara and Tama, reference for Tara and Tama in Samhitas? So, Kosha, the Shabdakalpa Dharma is available in the form of a mobile app. All students of Ayurveda should have this Shabdakalpa Dharma in their mobile, because we come across with so many terms and we have to find the solution immediately. We don't have much time to go and ask anyone. So therefore, I insist you to download Shabdakalpa Dharma in your phone. Amara Kosha. Amara Kosha. If you install Amara Kosha, you'll get Shabdakalpa Dharma also. Okay.
Thank you, sir. One more question. Yes, sir.
Okay. How can one then explain the events like earthquakes and volcanoes? Now, earthquakes and volcanoes are, they're kind of the events that are seen because of all these. The ecology has got, the climate or the ecology has got its own ability to keep itself at harmony. If we disturb it, then only it is going to cause. So I was on the other day, because of lockdown, we could see some animals also on road. Also on road. What does it mean? If there was no road, then that place would have been for animals. It only means if there was no road, then that place would have been animals. So because of the encroachment, because of the harm done to the biodiversity, because of removing of certain species from the life, removing certain animals, plants from the ecosystem itself, the biodiversity and the balance is being shifted. And all these earthquakes, volcanoes, or any other the tsunamis, etc., or even drought, if there is the number of tigers in the forest is becoming less, it would lead to the scarcity of water. The scientists say this all is man-made. This all is man-made. The cause for everything is the humans only. Because of the humans, the urbanization, the moving from the, or rather, in the words of Charaka Samhita itself, all these are because of Gramya Dharma, because of the civilized way of living, where we want so many luxuries and we pay no attention to the other life, be it animal kingdom or plant kingdom. All these are bound to happen, and all these, the cause is adharma only. Okay, next, any questions are there?
Thank you, sir. Anybody want to ask any doubts to clarify your discussion points? There is no any question, sir.
Okay, so if there are no questions, we'll end.
Yes, sir. Okay. Good afternoon
Okay,
to
again,
all. Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Again, thank you all. It was a meaningful interaction. I'm happy with the way the questions are asked. I can see there is so much of enthusiasm among the students. I see that there's a craving to learn, and I wish all students, each of them, a very good luck in their journey of Ayurveda. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, shall we log out, sir?
Yes, sir. We'll make a vote of thanks and thankful, sir. 1 minute.
Okay.
Good afternoon to all. Today we completed the 20th day of the webinar series. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Continue. Yes, sir.
Today we completed the 20th day of the webinar series 2 with the lecture series 18th one. So today we have a session on a CHARAKA VIMAANA. So as it is told by the Dr. Anand Katti sir, the Associate Professor of the GAMC Bangalore, प्रेरकाः सूचकश्चैव वाचको दर्शकस्तथाः शिक्षको बोधकश्चैव षडेते गुरवः स्मृताः. The one who inspires, one who informs, one who recites, one who guides, one who teaches, and one who awakens. These are the 6 gurus to remember, as sir has guided us with nicely. Thank you, sir. Now it is the time to vote of thanks. I hand over to the Dr. V.B. Gowda sir for the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, one and all. I'm very privileged to have you, sir, today. You have, as you said rightly, Vishesha Jnana on Vimanasthana. So rightly you said, sir, you have given the Vishesha Jnana on Vimanasthana. So I'm very thankful to you, sir. I start with the vote of thanks. First of all, I thank our beloved patron, Sriman Niranjana Pranava Sarupa Guru Mahanta Swamiji, for the continuous support in conduction of the Samprabodhana 2020. I thank you, sir. And I thank our guest speaker, Dr. Anand Katti, sir, Associate Professor, Government Ayurveda Medical College, Bangalore. We have enriched our students' knowledge, sir, with the updated knowledge on the COVID-19 in relation to Janapadodhamsa. I'm very thankful, sir. On behalf of our management, on behalf of our principal, Dr. Kesidas, sir, on behalf of our department, I am very thankful for accepting our invitation and sharing your knowledge with us, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I extend my thanks to the management for the continuous support in smooth conduction of the Samprodhana 2020. I thank you, and I also extend my thanks to our backbone of the series Samprodhana 2020. Today we are conducting the 12th session of Samprodhana 2020. I am very thankful to our beloved principal. Thank you, sir. I also extend my thanks to our department seniors, our HOD, Dr. Mahantesh Sachin Shetty, sir, for the continuous guidance in successing of the Samprodhana 2020. I also extend the Professor Dr. BH Katti, sir, in smooth conduction of the event. I also extend thanks to the event coordinators, Srimati Rupa Madam, Dr. J. Kanoli, sir, and Dr. Rashmi Madam for the continuous support in smooth conduction of the Samprodhana 2020. But not the least, I also extend my thanks to teaching and non-teaching staff of our college, and also I thanks to our beloved participants, students from our college, from different colleges who have attended on Zoom app as well as on YouTube. I extend my thanks to each and everyone who directly and indirectly helped us in conducting the webinar series Samprodhana 2020. Thank you one and all.